Humans want to believe so much that people think the large language models are conscious. That's how much humans want to believe.
Strong words. He's throwing left and right hooks. Why do you think large language models are not conscious?
I don't think I'm conscious.
Oh, so what is consciousness then, George Hotz?
It's like what it seems to mean to people. It's just like a word that atheists use for souls.
Sure, but that doesn't mean soul is not an interesting word.
If consciousness is a spectrum, I'm definitely way more conscious than the large language models are. I think the large language models are less conscious than a chicken.
When is the last time you've seen a chicken?
In Miami, like a couple months ago.
How? No, like a living chicken.
There's living chickens walking around Miami. It's crazy.
Like on the street?
Yeah.
Like a chicken.
A chicken. Yeah.
All right. All right. I was trying to call you out like a good journalist, and I got shut down. Okay, but you don't think much about this kind of subjective feeling that it feels like something to exist, and then as an observer, you can have a sense that an entity is not only intelligent, but has a kind of subjective experience of its reality, like a self-awareness that is capable of like suffering, of hurting, of being excited by the environment in a way that's not merely kind of an artificial response, but a deeply felt one.
Humans want to believe so much that if I took a rock and a Sharpie and drew a sad face on the rock, they'd think the rock is sad.
Yeah. And you're saying when we look in the mirror, we apply the same smiley face with rock.
Pretty much, yeah.
Isn't that weird though? That you're not conscious? Is that?
No.
But you do believe in consciousness.
Not really.
It's just, it's unclear. Okay, so to you, it's like a little like a symptom of the bigger thing that's not that important.
Yeah,
it's
it's interesting that like the human systems seem to claim that they're conscious. And I guess it kind of like says something in a straight up like, okay, what do people mean when, even if you don't believe in consciousness, what do people mean when they say consciousness? And there's definitely like meanings to it.
What's your favorite thing to eat?
Pizza.
Cheese pizza? What are the toppings?
I like cheese pizza. I like
don't say
pepperoni
pineapple.
Pizza. No, I don't like pineapple.
Okay. Pepperoni
And
pizza.
if they put any ham on it, oh, that's real bad.
What's the best pizza? What are we talking about here? Like, you like cheap, crappy pizza?
A Chicago deep dish cheese pizza. Right. Oh, that's my favorite.
There you go. You bite into a deep dish, Chicago deep dish pizza, and it feels like you were starving. You haven't eaten for 24 hours. Yeah. You just bite in, and you're hanging out with somebody that matters a lot to you, and you're there with the pizza.
Sounds real nice, man.
Yeah, all right. It feels like something. I'm George motherfucking Hotz eating a fucking Chicago deep dish pizza. There's just the full peak living experience of being human, the top of the human condition.
Sure.
It feels like something to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it feel like something? That's consciousness, isn't it?
If that's the word you want to use to describe it, sure. I'm not going to deny that feeling exists. I'm not going to deny that I experience that feeling. I guess what I kind of take issue to is that there's some like, how does it feel to be a web server? Do 404s hurt?
Not yet.
How would you know what suffering looked like? Sure, you can recognize a suffering dog because we're the same stack as the dog. Mm-hmm. All the biostack stuff kind of, especially mammals, it's just really easy. You can...
Game recognizes game.
Yeah. Versus the silicon stack stuff, it's like, you have no idea. Oh wow, the little thing has learned to mimic, But then I realized that that's all we are too. Oh look, the little thing has learned to mimic.
Yeah. I guess 404 could be suffering, but it's so far from our kind of living organism, our kind of stack. But it feels like AI can start maybe mimicking the biological stack better, because it's trained.
We trained it, yeah.
And so in that, maybe that's the definition of consciousness, is the biostack consciousness.
The definition of consciousness is how close something looks to human. Sure, I'll give you that one.
No, how close something is to the human experience.
Sure. It's a very anthropocentric definition, but...
Well, that's all we got.
Sure. No, and I don't mean to I think there's a lot of value in it. Look, I just started my second company. My third company will be AI girlfriends. No, like I mean it.
I want to find out what your fourth company is after
Oh,
that.
wow.
Because I think once you have AI girlfriends, it's, oh boy, does it get interesting. Well, maybe let's go there. I mean, the relationships with AI, that's creating human-like organisms, right? And part of being human is being conscious, is being having the capacity to suffer, having the capacity to experience this life richly in such a way that you can empathize. The AI system can empathize with you, and you can empathize with it, or you can project your anthropomorphic sense of what the other entity is experiencing, and an AI model would need to, to create that experience inside your mind, and it doesn't seem that difficult.
Yeah, but okay, so here's where it actually gets totally different, right? When you interact with another human, you can make some assumptions.
Yeah,
When you interact with these models, you can't. You can make some assumptions that that other human experiences suffering and pleasure in a pretty similar way to you do. The golden rule applies.
Mhm.
With an AI model, this isn't really true, right? These large language models are good at fooling people because they were trained on a whole bunch of human data and told to mimic it.
Yep. But if the AI system says, "Hi, my name is Samantha," it has a backstory.
Yeah.
Went to college there, here and there.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll integrate that's an AI system.
I made some chatbots. I give them backstories. It was lots of fun. I was so happy when Llama came out.
Yeah. We'll talk about Llama. We'll talk about all that. But like, The Rock with the smiley face.
Yeah.
Why? It seems pretty natural for you to anthropomorphize that thing and then start dating it, and before you know it, you're married and have kids
With a
somehow.
rock?
With a rock. And there's pictures on Instagram with you and a rock and a smiley face.
To be fair, something that people generally look for when they're looking for someone to date is intelligence in some form. And the rock doesn't really have intelligence. Only a pretty desperate person would date a rock.
I think we're all desperate deep down.
Oh, not rock level desperate.
All right. Not rock level desperate, but AI level desperate. I don't know. I think all of us have a deep loneliness. It just feels like the language models are there.
Oh, I agree. And you know what? I won't even say this so cynically. I will actually say this in a way that, I want AI friends. I do.
Yeah.
I would love to. Again, the language models now are still a little, people are impressed with these GPT things, and I look at the Copilot, the coding one, and I'm like, okay, this is like junior engineer level, and these people are like Fiverr level artists and copywriters. Okay, great, we got like Fiverr and like junior engineers. Okay, cool. And this is just a start, and it will get better, right? I can't wait to have AI friends who are more intelligent than I am.
So Fiverr is just a temporary. It's not the ceiling.
No, definitely not.
Is it count as cheating when you're talking to an AI model? Emotional cheating?
That's up to you and your human partner to define.
Oh, you have to. All right.
You have to have that conversation, I guess.
All right. I mean, integrate that with porn and all this.
No, I mean it's similar kind of to porn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I think people in relationships have different views on that.
Yeah, but most people don't have serious, open conversations about all the different aspects of what's cool and what's not. And it feels like AI is a really weird conversation to have.
I mean, the porn one is a good branching off point.
Sure.
Like these things, one of my scenarios that I put in my chatbot is a nice girl named Lexi. She's 20. She just moved out to LA.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to be an actress, but she started doing OnlyFans instead. And you're on a date with her. Enjoy.
Oh, man. Yeah. And so is that, if you're actually dating somebody in real life, is that cheating? I feel like it gets a little weird.
Sure.
It gets real weird. It's like, what are you allowed to say to an AI bot? Imagine having that conversation with a significant other.
I mean, these are all things for people to define in their relationships. What it means to be human is just going to start to get weird.
Especially online. Like, how do you know? Like, there'll be moments when you'll have what you think is a real human you interacted with on Twitter for years, and you realize it's not.
I love this meme. Heaven banning.
Mm-hmm.
You know about shadow banning?
Yeah.
Right? Shadow banning. Okay, you post, no one can see it. Heaven banning. You post, no one can see it, but a whole lot of AIs are spun up to interact with you.
Well, maybe that's what the way human civilization ends is all of us a heaven band.
There's a great, it's called My Little Pony Friendship is Optimal.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sci-fi story that explores this idea.
Friendship is optimal.
Friendship is optimal.
Yeah, I'd like to have some, at least on the intellectual realm, some AI friends that argue with me. But the romantic realm is weird. Definitely weird. But not out of the realm of the kind of weirdness that human civilization is capable of, I think.
I want it. Look, I want it. If no one else wants it, I want it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably want it. There's a deep loneliness.
And I'll fill their loneliness, and it just will only advertise to you some of the time.
Yeah, maybe the conceptions of monogamy change too. Like I grew up in a time like I value monogamy, but maybe that's a silly notion when you have arbitrary number of AI systems.
This interesting path from rationality to polyamory. Yeah, that doesn't make sense for me.
For you, but you're just a biological organism who was born before, like, the internet really took off.
The crazy thing is, like, culture is whatever we define it as, right? These things are not. You have the is ought problem in moral philosophy, right? There's no okay, what is might be that like computers are capable of mimicking girlfriends perfectly. They pass the girlfriend Turing test, right? But that doesn't say anything about ought. That doesn't say anything about how we ought to respond to them as a civilization. That doesn't say we ought to get rid of monogamy, right? That's a completely separate question, really a religious one.
Girlfriend Turing test. I wonder what that looks like.
Girlfriend Turing test.
Are you writing that? Will you be the Alan Turing of the 21st century that writes the girlfriend Turing test?
Well, no, I mean, of course, my AI girlfriends, their goal is to pass the girlfriend Turing test.
No, but there should be like a paper that kind of defines the test. Or I mean, the question is if it's deeply personalized or there's a common thing that really gets everybody.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're a company. We don't have to get everybody. We just have to get a large enough clientele to stay in
I like
business.
how you're already thinking company.